Carney meets Trump. So Carney was, our relationship with the United States will never be the same. Never be the same. He was the only man, maybe the only man in the world that was qualified and had the qualities to be able to stand up to Donald Trump and stare him down and break Trump, break him and force him to his will. Let's see how that went.
Mark, would you like to say a few words?
Well, thank you, Mr. President. I'm on the edge of my seat, actually, for the big announcement. But thank you for your hospitality and above all for your leadership. You're a transformational president. Focus on the economy with a relentless focus.
Well, transformational president. What?
Focus on the American worker, securing your borders, ending the scourge of fentanyl and other opioids, and securing the world. And I've been elected.
Securing the world? Wait a second. I thought you were going to lead like the world in like some global coalition against the United States or something. That's what you kept saying during the campaign.
Canada is ready to take a leadership role in building a coalition of like-minded countries who share our values.
This doesn't sound like that at all. This just sounds like it was all bullshit. No, elbows down, elbows down, elbows down, ass up, elbows down. No, Mark Carney, elbows down. No, Mark Carney's wife, or maybe that's Skeletor. Elbows down. There you go, elbows down. No, Mark, no, not up, down. We know what happened. So, look, the reality is, Mark Carney, what could he really do? There's nothing he could really do. I mean, we all knew that all this elbows up stuff was just bullshit. We have an economy a tenth the size of the United States. We're not going to win some trade war. There's no, Mark Carney wasn't going to go in and bend Trump to his will. It's all just pure nonsense. Now, as for Mark Carney's performance, I mean, it's just whatever. I mean, he didn't start crying, so that's good, I guess. Donald Trump appears to quite like Mark Carney, and told him that and said he ran a great campaign and everything, and then just started to more or less ritually humiliate him for the rest of the thing. And what could Carney do? I mean, I'm seeing people saying that, Mark Carney did really well. Well, what could he didn't start crying and he didn't get kicked out. So I guess that's good. I mean, what could he really do is the question. He kind of just has to sit there and just kind of take it. Really, I mean, that's the reality. After the campaign, after the elbows up and arm tough and blah, 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 that's the reality. We have an economy a tenth the size. That's it. It wouldn't benefit him to get kicked out. Maybe it would in Canada. Maybe the liberal boomers would love it or something. But at this point, it doesn't matter because he's already tricked enough people to get him elected. So let's hear a bit more.
With my colleagues here, with the help of my colleagues here, I'm going to spread the credit to transform Canada with a similar focus on the economy, securing our borders, again on fentanyl, much greater focus on defense and security, securing the Arctic and developing the Arctic. And the history of Canada and the U.S. is we're stronger when we work together, and there's many opportunities to work together. And I look forward to, addressing some of those issues that we have, but also finding those areas of mutual cooperation so we can go forward.
That's great.
But that doesn't sound like our relationship is over. Like, that's what he kept saying.
The old relationship we had with the United States, based on deepening integration of our economies and tight security and military cooperations, is over.
That didn't sound like, Mr. Trump, I'm leading a global, for some reason, the world is going to pick Canada to lead it in some sort of trade war against the United States. That didn't sound like that at all. From Kevin Pacitti, this was downright embarrassing. Anyone who elected Carney because he was the person to deal with Trump should be hanging their heads in shame about now. Elbows up. This was never going to be different from this. There's nothing really Carney could have done anyway. It's just that it's really on the Canadian people for being, so many Canadian people, for being so stupid and naive.
We want to make our own cars. We don't really want cars from Canada. And we put tariffs on cars from Canada. And at a certain point, it won't make economic sense for Canada to build those cars. And we don't want steel from Canada because we're making our own steel and we're having massive steel plants being built right now as we speak. We really don't want Canadian steel, and we don't want Canadian aluminum and various other things because we want to be able to do it ourselves. And
it was always going to be this, regardless of the brave talk during the campaign, which was, I'm certain, just simply manipulation. So this is from the French press, from Journal de Montreal. Carney won, Trump It's just cope, or just outright propaganda. I mean, the whole thing was just kind of embarrassing, I have to say. It's about what you would have expected. Trump seems to be thrilled that his man won, that Carney won. And my thoughts on that are just simply that Donald Trump has been talking about endlessly about how he wants industry from all over the world to relocate to the United States. Particularly, he wants manufacturing to repopulate that hollowed out industrial plant in the United States. What might cause, and Canada is right there. Canada's the border is right there. We're really close. It's actually a pretty easy move. So he's going to take Canadian companies, of course, if they're going to set up factories in the States, they're going to set up steel mills, say, in the States and employ people. He wants all of that, and he knows that he knows what Mark Carney's plan is. Mark Carney's plan is to punish Canadian industry, the polluters, the polluters, as Mark Carney says. They're going to pay, Mark Carney says, or maybe they're just going to leave. Maybe when they get a taste of his, or before then. I mean, they all know Mark Carney's been very public about how he's going to add on onerous carbon taxes and regulations onto Canadian businesses, Canadian industry. So if you've got Trump south of the border holding out his arms, his loving arms, willing to lovingly embrace any Canadian business that'll move south and bring their jobs and their money with them. And then you've got Mark Carney saying, you're going to pay, demonizing you to the Canadian public and getting elected on that. I don't know. What do you think is going to happen? Let's see. From George. This is the very moment that Mark Carney realized he lost everything. Just look at his body language after hearing Trump's firm response.
Tariffing Canada, is there anything he could say to you in the course of your meetings with him today that would get you to lift tariffs?
no,
Why not?
just the way it is.
Is there anything he, as in Mark Carney, can say to you to get you to lift tariffs? He says, no, just the way it is. No, elbows down, elbows down. No, there you go. Keep them down. Keep the elbows down. Keep the elbows down. Yeah, I don't know. I do know. It was all just a big fraud. That's clearly, it was a fraud perpetrated on the Canadian people, and there are enough Canadians that are just too stupid to know when they're being had. Michael Malice, he looks like an AI composite of every single CEO for a movie where the villain is an evil corporation. Let's see. From Mark Nixon, Donald Trump pulled out a masterclass in trolling today. Knowing that Mark Carney is 100% woke, smashes wokeism for 4 minutes straight, right to Carney's face. Trump knew exactly what he was doing, and Carney looked like he'd swallowed a lemon. So, yeah, let's watch this from Mark Nixon. So this starts out with during the campaign, and Mark Carney letting Canadians know that all of the infinite idiocy and lunacy of wokeness is got a home in Canada as long as he's prime minister, because we all just hate sanity, I guess.
There's a fever gripping America. And while it rages, Canadians will remain resolute and true to our values. While America engages in a war on woke, Canadians will continue to value inclusiveness.
And then if you weren't, if you didn't have, and I don't want to be a wise guy, but if you didn't go with the DEI, if you didn't go with all of the different things woke, if you weren't woke, you couldn't even use the money. You had to have a certain percentage of this and that and that and that. It's impossible to have. The companies actually complained to me. They said they gave me all this money, but nobody can get these people to do anything. I don't know. It's a disaster. And I don't like that.
Yeah, it's called woke dysfunction. I coined that woke dysfunction because whatever it is, whatever the organization, whatever it is, it's no longer about its original purpose. Now it's about spreading the mind virus, the woke mind virus. That's the most important thing. Whether it's, you know, the AMA, whether it's erecting a building, right? It doesn't matter. Woke comes first. The ideology comes first. This is why communist countries fail. But what did Mark Carney say there?
And while it rages, Canadians will remain resolute and true to our values. While America engages in a war on woke, Canadians will continue to value inclusiveness.
Yes, so Canada will continue to be an utterly dysfunctional woke country. And what does inclusiveness actually really mean to Mark Carney? Is this some sort of globalist code? Does that mean that does that mean that a 5-year-old can be told by their kindergarten teacher that because they played with the wrong toy that all of a sudden now they're born in the wrong body? Yes, to Mark Carney, that it does mean that. Does it mean that before you do anything, you have to check off a bunch of identity boxes? Does it mean 2 + 2 = 5? Apparently, that's what it means. And when I talk about it started out very nice with Donald Trump saying how much he liked Mark Carney, and he ran a great campaign, and he thinks he's a great guy, and then launched into about a 20-minute humiliation ritual. That's really what happened. And again, as for Carney's performance in it, just whatever. I mean, what's he supposed to do? Is he going to punch Trump, right? Is he going to start crying? Right? He's just going to sit there and he's just going to try and seem normal, right? He's going to seem, he doesn't want to get kicked out. He's just going to sit there and he knows that the press will go to bat for him. And as we see with this, this Montreal Journal, Carney won, Trump 0. Right? So he knew he just had to sit there and not make a total fool of himself. And then the media will do his work. The media that he funds, the media that knows he is the new sugar daddy, better make him happy if you want the checks to keep rolling in. He knew this was going to happen. He knew that all the right people would talk about, he did a really great job. This is why we elected Mark Carney. For what? To go and be humiliated by Trump? My first thought on Mark Carney is that after the election is that, boy, wait until the people who voted for him figure out that they've been conned. And then I realized, well, he just won the election. An election, there's no way that he should have won. So I think it's more likely that they never figure out they've been conned. It's just simply, or even if they do, it won't matter to them because political fashion is just so ingrained in so many Canadians now that they just don't care. As long as it's not called conservative, they don't care. Maybe it'll change. Maybe I will become more optimistic as things continue. Where the election is still, really recent. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say about that. Please like, share, and subscribe. Subscribing really helps me out. I thank you for that. I will see you next time.